You can't put any of that.
I know. I just thought fucking get it out of the fucking. We've got the bad stuff out of the way. So today on the Tim Marner podcast show, I've got my mate Kuartz in. How long have we known each other for? I've known you since you were 17. 16. What was the band that you were called that you were in with our kid?
So the band, the way that I met you,
yeah,
through Tez and everybody, your brother Tez, was Koishiteru.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
I remember the first time I met you, it was on Denton Lane in Chadderton, and I just met Cookie at college when I was 16, and he was like, "Oh, you need to come and." He heard me play guitar, and he was like, "Oh, you need to come and play with my band. We've got a keyboardist and a bass player, and my brother does a bit of scratching and that." And I was like, "Yeah, you know, I'm not doing anything. I'll go and jam."
16, I can't believe it, man.
And then I'm like 26 at the time.
Yeah.
Goes down, jams with him, meets your brother Tez, meet Big Pete Epton stall on the bass and stuff. And it
shout out to Pete.
Just opened up this world that I'd not been exposed to. A couple of weekends later, met you. You brought Tez down to take us up to the new rehearsal room.
Yeah.
And just, you know, the rest is history.
Mad
and
man,
it started going out down in Manchester with you all. I'm 16 at the time, and you're getting me in clubs and stuff. It's mental, dude.
Fucking good times, then,
good
brother.
times.
Right there.
Good times. Eye-opening times. Molding times. It's kind of like, I always say to people, like, I'm the product of like 2 Marners and 3 Cooks and 1 Epton stall. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, good that, mate. So, when did you first start getting into playing the guitar?
Probably about the age of 13 or something like that.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like in secondary school. Yeah, so it was about 13.
Always been into music right from the off?
Not necessarily. It was more like just a general sort of kid, just playing football, you know, going on the park and stuff like that. And it was like, my sister got a boyfriend who played guitar, and that's kind of like what opened up like this musical world to me. And he was like bringing Nirvana CDs and Beatles CDs and Stone Roses and stuff like that. And that's what really like...
What did you want to do back then?
Before I was playing music, or when I just started playing music?
Both. Give me both.
So before I started playing music, I can't even remember a time before like music. To be honest with you, like I said, it was just like a average.
But where you thought, oh, I'm going to make this my sort of profession?
I didn't really think about that until I picked up the guitar, and then when I picked up the guitar and started getting into music, because that's all I ever wanted to do. And it was luckily enough to have, you know, a dad who was like, well, you know, that's what you want to do, then do it. And he was, you know, he would buy me guitars and amps, and he would take me here and there to go and, you know, rehearsal with school bands and stuff like that. When I say school bands, it's like, you know, me and my mates, you know, just playing covers of like Green Day and Blink-182 and stuff like that at the summer concert and stuff like that. And it was just all I did. You know, most kids were going out getting drunk.
What was your dad playing you? What type of music was he playing you?
My dad, wow, Bob Marley.
Because you had like, you have like loads of records.
Yeah, so my dad,
because don't you sample quite a lot of those records from your pops like?
Well, yeah. I went through that collection and ended up having to, you know, go and make my own collection and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad would play like really diverse stuff. So he'd like Bob Marley 1 minute, and then, you know, it'd be stuff like Led Zeppelin or Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that. Typical sort of 60s, 70s stuff to me.
Yeah. So when did the sampling sort of like take shape? Because obviously we were going, Music Box, Grand Central Records, we started getting into all that, didn't we? And then what was that point where you thought to yourself, in fact, tell people what you do? Because obviously I've just kind of done you as my mate there, and just like, I'm actually thinking there's people listening to this, they don't fucking clue what you do.
I'm a sample-based hip-hop producer, beatmaker, and, you know, I just go digging for records and sample them, chop them up, and make beats out of them. And then from that, you know, you get producers that like your beats, who want to buy your beats or want to work with you directly and stuff. I've been pretty fortunate to work with some underground people, not, you know, nobody really big or massive or anything like that. Local people in the States. I've been fortunate enough to release music for people in the States, people in labels in the UK, vinyl, cassette, digital releases.
Mate, honestly, from the outside, like, I'm so proud of you, because it's like, you know, I know we don't talk often, like, but then when you're doing like a music festival, or you're working with an artist and I see these tapes coming out, I'm just like, fucking Kuartz, man. This is what you were born to do, mate.
It's great. Like, it's a lot of it is like, it's a lot of hard work and sticking to your guns. But I'm one of the luckiest motherfuckers in the world. A lot of stuff has landed in my lap, and I don't know if that's the universe, because I'm putting in the hard work, I'm putting that message out there, and I'm getting the rewards back or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, I've been super lucky to, you know, Village Live getting in touch with me and putting me on wax for the first time.
Deal,
that was a big milestone. You know, playing festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even before that, when I was just sort of dabbling with beats but not releasing music, and I was hanging out with Smee, remember Smee?
Yeah.
And we was doing the big city thing, and we was doing I used to MC for Juicy on a Wednesday night at Joshua Brooks, and, you know, every second Friday of the month at Gorilla or something like that, which I hated, by the way, but it was a stepping stone to getting out there into Manchester and meeting the people that you need to meet, sort of thing.
When did you know then? Was it back then doing the MCing that you thought, I'm going to make this my profession now? What was there must have been a moment where you just thought,
I think just going to you. Well, no, even before that, when I met Cookie and Tez and everybody, it was just like, and, you know, we started doing gigs and we're booking, and then we started putting our own nights on at Jackson's Pit, and then we got it that busy that we had to move to a bigger venue. Like, who did that in Oldham, bro? At that time, nobody. We moved to 360 Bar and we're selling out and, you know, making. I remember Tez going, we've just made 500 quid on the door, and that's after we've paid the bouncers. I'm like, what? And I'm 16, dude. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna stick with it. And then, you know, finishing uni, I went and worked at like Sainsbury's for like 3 years or something like that. And I was like, no, this is not for me. This is not for me.
So when did you get into the drumming side of it then? When did you start getting into the sampling and the drumming?
So I was at uni, I was hanging out around with Smee and doing the big city thing, and I remember we saw a video of a guy called Arab Music on an MPC, just going and playing whole beats live, just hitting pads, and we just looked at each other and we was like, we need to do that. We need to do that. We need to stop making beats how we're making them and start doing it so we can start doing it live and start practicing and stuff. And that was like, what, 2011 or something like that. And it was, you know, a bit of a pipe dream in a way when you think, I'm going to go and do that. And it's like, oh, wow, this is not, he makes it look, it's like anything. When somebody does it well, they make it look easy. And it was like, from then, and I think I did my first finger drumming show 2017. So from 2011 to 2017, I spent that whole time learning how to do it and making beats at the same time, but not really releasing any music.
So where are you getting your samples from at the time then, when you started first doing it?
Just vinyl, just going out. And this is before like the vinyl boom kicked off again, and records were dirt cheap, and you could find stuff in the charity shops for 50p. Do you know what I mean? Or you could go to a proper record shop and come on with a crate full of records for like, you know, 30, 50 quid or something like that. And now you go there after the vinyl boom and you're lucky if you can get like 2 or 3 records for 50 quid.
Well, I think what I've loved about watching you grow is I've seen the finger drumming thing, and not that it wasn't for you, but I felt like you were replicating other people. But then when you started, the Japanese started like, I'm just like, Matt's finding his identity within that space now. And obviously you've gone through that process from 11 to what's it, and then I just thought, right, okay, he's got it now. He's going to start implementing himself. And the what's the album called? The
Koishiteru.
Mate, that fucking album cover is beautiful.
Well, that was all down to my cousin, who's a graphic designer. You've met my cousin, you know who he is. But I think that album in particular was like I mean, you know, previous to that, I did Village Live put Shurikens out, which was like a big thing. It was a big milestone, my first time on wax. But then Koishiteru, we did it all ourselves.
You can tell, mate, it's got you in it. It feels like it's got you in it.
It was like at a time when a company just came about called Crates, where you could do a crowdfunding thing. You could, you know, and it's really simple. It was just a website. You upload all your audio files, you upload your artwork, and you direct people to the site. And it's almost like a pre-order sort of thing, but like you have to hit 100 pre-orders, otherwise it doesn't get made. And I think we came here and we did 2 videos, and as soon as we did them, boom, within 4 days, I put it at 100 for like the limit of what we had to hit, and within 4 days we had 200 orders. And it carried on, and it was still, we had like a month still to go, like to get, you know, to the 100, even though we surpassed it. And I think it ended up getting like 240 orders or something like that. And you know, after that, I've done multiple releases through there. I think I'm probably one of the only guys that's done 2 double LPs successfully crowdfunded at the same time.
Do you ever look at it and stop and you think you're proud? You're like proud of yourself
every day.
I am
every day, man. Every day. Not just proud of myself, but like, wow. Like, just I've put the hard work in, but it's still, you know, you don't think like, it's hard work, but you don't think, oh, I'm putting this hard work in, so, you know, I deserve this or whatever, or something's gonna come back from it, and then you just like, it happens, and you're like, and it always shocks me. It's never underwhelming. It's always overwhelming when people buy, like, because first and foremost, like, I make music for me because I enjoy it. And then if someone else like listens to it and likes it, that's always a bonus. And if they buy it, that's an extra bonus. And then if they share it, or, you know, they tell someone else about it. And that was one of the great things about Koishiteru. I get so many people messaging me still about that album saying, oh, my mate played me this. And it's like, you know, that's how I found you. Like, and it was like, even on sort of like social media side, it just went from like less than 1,000 followers to like boom, 4,000 followers, and it was just like, what is this phenomenal? It's crazy.
I play it, mate, and like people go, oh, who's that? I go, because it's my mate Kuartz. I'm just like, fuck it, I just feel so fucking proud of that. It's like Betty's like, oh, who's coming out? I said, oh, Kuartz, mate, I've known him for ages. Like, he's a music producer and does, oh, what kind of stuff does he does? So I showed her, like, I was just dead proud of like showing you what you do. And then next thing you know, she came in the next day and said, oh, my fella's been listening to it non-stop. He fucking absolutes Kuartz's stuff. It's like,
and that's
sick.
what happens. It just has this knock-on effect, and it's just like, I can't believe it.
What is it about your tunes? Like, what? I know it's probably hard for you to say, but like, there's this kind of, I don't know what it is, Spanish, Japanese kind of.
Spanish, Japanese.
Honestly, mate, I'm just like, it's kind of lo-fi. I can feel like I'm in one of them low riders, and it's got that. It's just,
that is the nail on the head, and I think that was one of the biggest audience when you look at the stats on Spotify and stuff like that, and where the records were going. Right. It was mostly people in LA in that low rider culture.
Right.
And I think that's why it had such a big effect, because of the type of samples that I was using was like what they call oldies, which is what all like the sort of like the LA car culture is all about, and stuff. Them oldies tunes.
But I've just got this Japanese little sprinkling with it, mate. When obviously that's just my sort of perspective on it, like, but that's why it's so different for me when I listen to it.
I mean, was I the first guy to sort of bring that Japanese influence into sort of like hip hop and stuff? Probably not. But if you look,
you've always been into that though, manga art, all that. That, you know what I mean? That's your identity from
samurai movies.
Yeah, right back in the thing.
I'm not like, I wasn't the first person to do it. But now when you look at what's going on in like the subcultures of beat making and stuff like that, or the subgenres with lo-fi hip hop, as they call it now, which is not really what I call lo-fi hip hop, or what I call it is study beats or chill out music. There's this anime sort of imagery and branding that goes with it, and it's like, and I kind of sit there and it's easy to get bitter. You can get bitter and, you know, hate on it, or you can go, do you know what I mean? I did that. I was doing that back in 2017. Do you know what I mean? I
just love the Japan, you know, the samurai and the code of ethics and the principles and stuff like that. It's just it's just nothing like it, is there?
No, not at all, man. It's just like, and that's something that I was like into, you know, from a young age. I've always been into like
Bruce Lee,
arms and armor. I think most young kids are into like, you know, playing army or whatever and stuff like that. And then, you know, the first time you see a Bruce Lee movie and you get that sort of like Eastern sort of glimpse into Eastern martial arts and stuff like that. And then you start seeing things like, you know, Shogun Assassin or something. You're like, it's got like banned since 1981 on the VHS cover. And you remember you used to see it in the VHS store when you was kid. It was like, oh, no way.
There's just something so humble, yet this person could kill you as well at the same time. So great values and way of being, but in a split second they can just kill you.
It's such a paradoxical way of life as well. You know, if you read books about, you know, Bushido and stuff like that, and you know, there's a film that made one of the books very popular. There's a film called Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai with Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah,
and in the movie, he's reading a book, and that's an actual real book that you can go out.
Is
and
it
buy.
actually about a sword fighter?
No, it's a collection of writings, and it's more like short little sort of like mantras in a way, I suppose, of how to live like a samurai.
And do you get influence from that when you're actually making your music, that you maybe sample some of that in your music?
Absolutely. And not just that, just like work ethic and stuff like that, and and then it knocks off and it starts infiltrating your day-to-day life, how you speak to people, how you how you interact with people and stuff like that, and how you perceive how people are interacting with you. It's like, you know, for years and years, some people, you know, they get the wrong idea about me, dude. Like, they think I can be quite arrogant and stuff like that. But it's more of a case of like, I'm more of an introverted extrovert. Like, I'm not gonna come over to you and start a conversation with you. People find that arrogant. But if you come to me, I'll talk to you. Do you know what I mean? And I'll kick it with you and you know, talk about whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, for me, it's like from that reading about samurais and stuff like that, it's that mutual respect and stuff like that. And it's a little bit like that story in Kill Bill when the story of Pai Mei from the White Lotus clan, and he's walking down the street and the Shaolin monk's walking up the street, and Pai Mei gives him a nod, but the Shaolin monk doesn't nod back to him. And that's a huge sign of disrespect.
I love that shit, mate.
It's dope,
So
innit? It's
good,
dope. And it's like, if
So
you can sort of like bring that into your everyday life, you find that you start getting, you know, interacting with people better and so on and so forth.
Your social media engagement goes up because you're being...
Exactly. I remember I did a podcast once, and one guy who was interviewing me was saying, one of the things that I love about you is that you always make time to comment back to everybody that comments on your post. Well, why shouldn't I? They took the time to comment on the post.
It's that nod and they don't nod back.
Exactly.
That's what I was saying to someone the other day about social media and stuff. It's like, it's called social for a reason. And if someone's comments and they've made the time to do it, then you do the same thing back. You won't walk into a pub and someone says hello and you don't say hello back.
Exactly.
You just come off, who's that cunt?
Exactly.
So, what was the reason for doing the tapes?
So the tape thing was that spans back to like in the 90s when producers would put their beats on tapes. This is pre-internet invading homes and stuff like that. And to get your beats to you know, MCs and stuff like that, you would put all your beats on a tape and post it out. Yeah. And then I think it was probably around 2013, 2014, we just got a studio in a mill in Oldham. And I was
that behind bus stop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, a young lad, PK Roscoe, shout out to PK Roscoe, I still work with to this day. I remember we were doing some stuff and I was just like, I need to find someone that dubs tapes. I've just got this feeling that tapes are going to come back in a big way. Boom. Tapes came back in a massive way. And this really thriving scene of producers like me that were, you know, making beats out of the bedroom, it just started to emerge again and stuff like that. And I remember I got an inbox on Twitter from a guy that run a small label called Brain Food Media, and he was like, I make tapes, do you want to do a beat tape? And I was like, you're damn right I do. and it was really sort of just emerging really nicely, and I'd just got an Instagram and stuff like that, and I was starting to meet people like me on the other side of the world in LA or, you know, in Japan and stuff like that, and they were all like dubbing these tapes at home. And I went and met the guy from Brain Food Media. I went over to his house in Wigan.
When you talk about it, man, you're just like, what have you been doing? Like, what?
I went over to his house in Wigan. He was like, I'll show you where I dubbed the tapes and stuff. And he had it was like a 3-story house, and in the attic he had like 20 just tape decks all around the room, and he was popping tapes and running around pressing record, and that's how people were doing it. And just like getting them on Bandcamp, you could start putting actual physical stuff as merch on Bandcamp and selling it, so you could ship them out, you could get orders from all over the world. And then the other thing that was really good was, like, because of the Instagram thing, I was getting people saying, oh, I've just put a beat tape out, do you want to send me one of yours and I'll send you one of mine? So there was this trading thing going on as well. And then people were like, oh, do you want to do a tape together? And I started doing tapes with people from LA and on a label from New York, or I was doing a tape with somebody from Japan on a label in, you know, Washington or whatever. It was just like really thriving. And this is like the time when, you know, you got 15 seconds video time on Instagram and people start doing finger drumming started coming out. Everybody starts finger drumming. You got 15 seconds to do your best routine that you can. And I was just like getting them out as quick as I do. I was like, people need to know, like, I've been doing this for years.
How big was your Instagram following? When you first started that, did it take off quite quick?
I started getting a little bit of recognition from it, yeah. It was like, it was the vinyl, getting your stuff on. When you get your stuff on vinyl and you go like that to somebody, they go, oh shit, this dude's on vinyl. Right, yeah. I'm going to start taking him seriously. Do you know what I mean? Because anybody can, you know, the music gear's cheap enough now. You can buy a laptop, you can buy some drum pads, you can, you know, sample from whatever you want and make some beats in your bedroom. Anybody can do it. But like, if somebody takes you seriously enough to say, I want to put a record out, and they put it on vinyl, and then you've got that vinyl and you give it to somebody else, and they're just like, oh shit, okay, you mean business now.
Got hers upstairs that he signed. He's mint, mate. It's fucking mint. When did clothing brands start getting in touch with you to start? What was that one I remember you did it for? I can't remember. What
it
was quite a big clothing brand,
it was
wasn't
a Manchester-based one. What were they called? Native Youth.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that was sort of around that time when Shurikens came out in the April, and then Koishiteru came out in the September. So it was around that time. Yeah. And I knew a girl that was I went to school with a girl that was working for him, so she's obviously gone in and you know, you need some music for that shoot, and I know this guy, and then that's there.
Your music's perfect for stuff like that.
It is. And it isn't at the same time. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, like, because of like the Japanese samples, you know, all the samurai stuff that's on there. It can be a little bit difficult to work with and stuff like that. But and you know, I've had a few bits here and there, but nothing kind of major. But
so, what did you do after Koishiteru? What was after that?
So. After Shurikens came out, that was in the April, and then in the May, we found out my dad was going to die. Yeah. He got diagnosed with terminal cancer. Yeah. So there was a lot of preparing for that. He was going through a lot of treatments. So they gave him 4 months at that initial meeting.
That quick?
Which was, you know, devastating. Yeah. For everybody in the family. So there was a lot of preparing for that. He started treatment, which was able to prolong it. Yeah. So I just plowed myself into music, dude.
Just to blank it out.
Just not blank it out, but just sort of like, just to keep busy. And I knew that if I stopped, it would upset him. Do you know what I mean? It was like, because he was always the one that was like, if that's what you want to do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. Like, so it was just like, just work. And I just remember, like, seeing like, I think it was a Will Smith of all things interview or stuff like that. And Will Smith was like, the best thing about me is that you will never outwork me. If I get on a treadmill next to you and we set off at the same time, I'm not getting off that treadmill until after you've got off. And I just thought, that's fucking great, man.
Just what you need.
Outwork everybody. Yeah. Just plow yourself into music. And just made a hell of a lot of music to this day. I'm still finding stuff that I don't even remember making. And it was like...
Did you feel like that? Was that a time that, you know, even though it was going on with your dad, you were sort of finding yourself as a beat producer, music producer?
Yeah, definitely. It was...
Because obviously, you know, the Beatles, like Paul McCartney was always saying about them 10,000 hours. That was your moment right there, weren't it?
I think it's one of them things, like, as well, because you've just got this devastating news, and you've always got them people that sort of like, you know, they say, oh, why do you do music? Like, just go and get a fucking job, do you know what I mean? Go on, you know, and it's like, why? I don't want to be fucking miserable like you, going to work waking up on a Monday morning and living for the weekend. It's like, so when you get that devastating news, it's like, you don't give a fuck about anything. Yeah. So it's like, I'm just gonna...
Nothing's worse than that, is
it's
it?
like, you don't give a shit about money, you don't give a shit about anything.
Or no matter what he said to me, he just don't fucking...
It's just like, I'm gonna just fucking go all out, go all out, do as much as you can.
That's what he'd want you to do.
And I was spending a lot of time at home as well, because obviously my pops was ill and stuff, and I was looking after him and stuff, and like, it's just like, just go all out, man. And you know, if nothing ever comes from it, at least, you know,
you give it everything you had.
Exactly. But yeah, so it was just like, I just put everything that I had into it. And again, going back to that thing is like, you know, I don't know if the universe heard me or something like that, and it just all came back to me. And I think like the following, like 2018, we put out Kuartz FM.
Yeah, remember that. The artwork was sick on that as well, weren't it?
That was like mad, sort of like 70s VHS sort of inspired.
Who designed that one?
My cousin again.
Is it sick?
That was like another big milestone, because it was a gatefold, and you open it, and there's a picture of me there.
Yeah.
And we did that, and
turning that. Yeah.
It was like the whole thing run as like a radio show. It was Kuartz FM, and you know, I was fortunate enough to, you know, big thanks to everybody that got involved in that. I was like getting people that I'd met through social media to send voice clips on WhatsApp. You know, doing like phone-in requests and stuff like that, or, you know, complaints about the show, just little bits like that.
Mate. So good, so creative.
And like the first single from it got.
When did you come up with the idea with that? When did you think to yourself?
That LP in particular was inspired by an album by, you know, my all-time favorite producer Jay Diller. They released something after JD passed. Pete Rock put something together called Jay Stay Paid, and that runs kind of like a radio show as well. They've got little snippets in between of interviews of JD being interviewed on the radio and stuff like that. So that, sonically and audio wise, that's what inspired sort of like the theme of running it like a radio show. And then like the cover was just, I just wanted it to look really sort of just retro. And it was sort of like you were coming into this era of like, and I think we're still in that era of like, we're living in a time of nostalgia, where people are looking to the good old days, because at the moment, you know, especially everything after the pandemic, everybody's like, life's shit. Yeah. So let's, you know, remember that, you know, everybody's trying to claw back to get the good old days back and stuff. Yeah. So it's like, it was like, that was the vibe, and it was like, yeah, okay, I like that. So we need to run with that. It actually wasn't my cousin who did that LP. It was Pete.
Yeah, but you know what? I thought it was when I was thinking.
Pete
yeah.
Shout out to Pete. Shout out to Pete. Sorry, Pete.
It's just your cousin's done a lot of your albums, hasn't she? In fact, I do remember Pete doing that. I think he sent it to. Yeah.
My cousin took the photograph that's on the in sleeve. So yeah, and it was just like that sort of like that vibe at the time. Just really inspired the whole imagery of it and stuff. And
how did that one do? How did it get received that?
It got received very well, but sales-wise, Village Live, because of the success of Shurikens in Koishiteru, they went all out and did a really big run of it, and I think there's still copies sat at, you know, Village Live HQ now. You can still get that. So sort of like how it was received, it got received really well, but they're still left with a lot of copies, which is kind of, you know, I feel bad about it in a way. But then I always think, well, you know, we did a large run, you know, there's stock there if people whatever get hold of it or whatever, so it is whatever. But yeah, the first single from that got featured in DJ magazine, and it was like the first time I was ever in a magazine and stuff like that, so that was cool. But yeah, and then I think after that, what did I do after Kuartz FM? It's just a run of just, because I had all this music, get it out. Started doing stuff with a label called...
Which one are you most proud of everyone that you've done?
Koishiteru.
Right, so perfect.
Yeah. It was just such a turning point.
Mate, it was just like I said, when I could feel you as a person in that thing. It looked and sounded exactly who you are as a person. It would the front cover was beautiful. And even the website and the animation, it was just like, I was just like, I don't like saying this, but somebody's actually done a better job than me, right? I don't like saying it, but I'll be like...
It was just, I think sonically as well, like the feeling of that as well was, there's a really good YouTube channel where they get celebrities to go out to record stores and go and buy records and come back and they have a chat about it. And there's one where Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers goes to a record store and he buys a few LPs, and in there is a Jay Diller record. And he's saying, oh man, this guy. And for, you know, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers to be talking about someone like J.D. who's like, he's every beatmaker's favorite beatmaker. So for, you know, a funk bassist, rock bassist to be talking about, you know, one of the most underground, you know, normal people don't know about Jay Dilla. It's more of a music person's thing. So for him to be talking about that, and he's like, I was listening to this guy. I used to go out hiking on trails, in, you know, out in the redwoods in San Francisco and stuff like that. And it was like, and he started crying. It's like, this guy, he just touched something. Like, he just has a way, and it's like, and I was like, you know, wow, you know, it's like you've totally embodied, you know, what Jay Dilla does to most of us beatmakers, sort of thing. He just touches you, like it's in a really sort of emotional place where it's just like, wow, you know, these beats, Jay Dilla beats, I'm not gonna lie, these Jay Dilla beats, just instrumental beats that make me cry, dude. Yeah. And I was like, if you can do that to someone musically, that's a hell of a thing. That's a hell of a thing. And when I did Koishiteru, and I put a lot of it, I was seeing a girl at the time who was like, you know, really into it and stuff, and I put that into that record. That emotion into it. And I've had people say, like, I cried this morning listening to this record. They've messaged me, inboxed me on Instagram, and I was like,
that's why you do it. That's why you do it, to make people feel.
Exactly. Make people feel. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
If you could, with an instrumental piece of music, if you can touch someone to make it, and it makes them feel something emotionally.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, metal music can make people feel angry, but if you can make someone feel vulnerable, for lack of a better word, or you know, emotionally vulnerable, or
that's good.
Vulnerable enough to make them let that out. Something that's, you know, in society, you know, being vulnerable or crying is looked at as weak. It's fucking not, man. It's not at all. It's strong, if anything. If you feel comfortable enough to, like, you know, let your emotions out where you cry and stuff.
It shows true strength.
True strength.
Which is the samurai way, mate.
Exactly, bro. It all comes back full circle. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just like, just putting that emotion into that record, and it translated, and it, you know, people people felt it.
Yeah, it resonated, mate.
That's why I'm so proud of that record, man.
The mask thing that you're doing at the minute, what's going on with that? I'm sure I said go on in then. I don't know. It's because I'm with you, that.
The masks was an accident.
Was it?
An absolute accident. I was just bored one night. I had an MF Doom mask sat there. It's not even a proper MF Doom mask. It was something that I bought years ago off eBay or something like that. It was like a costume.
Are they going mental?
I had a box full of stickers and a mask there, and I'm sat there one night, and I'm like, I'm just gonna put all these stickers on that mask. Ping, 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 ping. I want one. Oh, what shit. Crazy. Okay.
It's like you've not planned anything. You've just put it out there, the frequency, and it's just like, yeah, Matt, like what you're about, pal, here you go.
And I think it's a combination of three things, I think. Hard work, putting it out there, and my old man looking down on me.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
It's like, and it was at a time where the masks came along so fucking perfectly timed.
Did they?
Music was just like, the pressing plants were getting backed up.
Yeah.
If you want to make money off music now, you have to be doing sample packs. You have to be doing content every day on social media. I'm 36, dude. I ain't got fucking time to do all that fucking fancy. Some of the shit that people
do it when you feel it, and that's what I love about you. You're not doing it just for the sake of it. When you hear your music, or and you know that Matt's felt it, he's not doing it for fucking anything else.
It's like a little bit towards that after my pops died. It was like a little bit. Music was getting a little bit.
Yeah.
It's getting like a job there.
Yeah, I'm just
doing it for the sake of fucking doing it. And it was like dragging it, and then, you know, COVID hit and the pressing plants start backing up, and record labels can't really, you know, they're waiting 6 to 9 months for records to come back, and you're like, okay, I was lucky enough to get a couple of singles on Spotify that had over 1 million plays. 0.004 pence every play. All right, I'm gonna get a couple of, you know, a little chunk of change every quarter, you know, every 3 to 4 months. It's like, okay, this is not a viable means of making money anymore. I'm not willing to start doing content every day on social media to push people to go and buy stuff, or, you know, I'm not gonna start creating sample packs. thought about doing tutorials, tried it, didn't really work, wasn't really my kind of thing. Masks. It's like it came a lot just at that point when I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do if I can't make money off music anymore the way that I want to make money off music? What am I gonna do? Masks. And it came along. A lot of people think that I jumped on this thing because people are buying them as MF Doom masks, and I was selling them as MF Doom masks. I customize them. I do whatever. People get in touch with me. They want certain things. I do my own, designs. Logo them up or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whatever.
They are sick.
They are sick, bro. I like them. Do you know what I mean? I'm a sucker for branding mashups. You know, when you see like people doing like
What's the
logo
Nike, the Nike one? Because I fucking love that.
The Nike Off-White.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But again, like people were like, because MF Doom died like a year previous, they were like, oh, you bro, the hate I've had from doing these masks.
Really? Were you really celebrating him?
I was doing it because I wanted to do something dope. I think it's dope, right? I'm a sucker for brand mashing up people that do famous people as Simpsons characters, or they mash up logos or whatever. And I've always wanted to do something visually artistic. I can't draw for shit. I was like, this is great. Do you know what I mean? I'm ordering this spray paint and I'm finding people that can do decals. And I'm just thinking, right, how can we do this? And it was getting creative again, but not at the point where I'm like, doing something creative, but I'm not getting any money out of it either because I have to pay bills, do you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So people were coming along and I was getting inboxes and comments on it and some nasty shit, bro. Nasty shit. It hit an all-time low. Some guy messaged me, you're a fucking prick, you're disgusting, you're an absolute disgrace, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. And normally what I would do is just block, delete, block, whatever, get rid of them. Did that to that guy. 2 minutes later, different account, same guy. Ha, you blocked and deleted me. If you do it again, I'm going to put you on blast on Reddit. Fuck's up with this dude? Why is he fucking bothering me? Why is he going for me? Do you know what I mean? Block, delete. Third account. That's it. You're fucking having it on Reddit.
Fucking hell.
Fuck off. Do say what you want, block, delete. That evening, gets an inbox. Somebody that follows me. I don't know who it was. I don't follow them. Talk of the town, you mate. What are you talking about? Sends me the link to Reddit. Bro, it was going off.
What were they saying?
Oh, this is fucking trash. Who's this fucking guy? Who does he think he is? This, that, and that.
Did your head just go in bin?
Just went in the bin, but because I'm not a keyboard warrior, bruv, I can't be doing with these people that want to trash talk you. I actually skipped a part of that story. So the third message I got from that guy, he went, I'm going to put you on blast on Reddit. I tried to call him, bruv.
Did you?
Not on a thing like, I wasn't going to kick off with him. It's just like, what's up? What's up? What do you want me to do? Like, what's up? What's up?
Yeah.
He didn't answer, so I'm like, fuck it. So that night, blah, 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 all goes off. And I was just like, I can't be arsed with this keyboard warrior shit. And then I get another inbox. Some female MC that did a couple of tracks with Dooms put me on blast on Instagram. We need to get a cease and desist on this guy, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. I'm just like, I'm getting inboxes from people that I know in the music scene. Wow. You okay, bro? Have you seen this? And I just shut everything down.
Did you?
Just turn, deactivated everything, turned the shop off, the big cartel off, turned everything off. So I'm going to give it a week. I'm going to have a think about it. I need to think about how I can still do this because it was going off. The orders were flying in. I had all these masks, you know what I mean, and orders to do. Work on these orders, let everybody know that's ordered stuff, that you've turned everything off, tell them why you've turned it off, blah 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 blah. Do it for a week. That Reddit post was going on and on and on and on and on, and I'd say it was about 70% in this guy's favor and 30% people were battling my corner and stuff, and it was like, all right, nice. Do you know what I mean? At least there is some people out there that are backing me or whatever. And then after a week, I just turned everything back on. Nothing. And there's been nothing since. And because I don't sell them as MF Doom masks anymore, I sell them as Gladiator masks. And people, if they want to buy them as MF Doom masks, and they want to sit, when they bought them, if they want to post pictures of them as MF Doom masks, that's up to them, dude. I'm selling Gladiator masks.
That's crazy, that.
The beef was unreal, bro. The beef was, I can't be doing with all these keyboard warriors. Do you know what I mean? Come and say it to my face. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to I'm going to smack you or anything like that, you know what I mean? But if you've got something to say to me, come and say it to my face. Don't hide behind a keyboard, man.
What have you got coming up? What music have you got coming up?
Music-wise, the music's kind of slowed down because the masks has just been going off. So it's kind of like I've been working. I just did something with 2 guys from Chicago, a duo that were really dope. They got in touch with me. They really liked the beats. Yeah. That got put out. We did a run of cassettes and stuff. But even that, cassettes are struggling. Yeah. You know, we can get cassettes done, you know, and get the turnaround times like 2 weeks. It's not like the wax. So that's struggling. It's just everything seems to be really pushing towards that Spotify, getting on the editorial playlists on Spotify. And again, it's like, it's not what I got into it for. So I'm just going to do music, but not really with the name of like, you know, making money off it or whatever. Just do it because it's fun. And then, you know, that old mantra of if it's fun, then carry on doing it. And if somebody else likes it, that's a bonus. So we did that with the 2 guys from Chicago. I've got something with a guy from Carolina. This year's mostly working with MCs, not really much instrumental stuff. I'm sat on loads of instrumental stuff, but it's like I kind of want to see it on physical formats. So we'll see what happens over the, you know, when everything starts to get back to normal and picking back up, if it ever does. Yeah. And just...
If you were going to give like a young kid advice getting into this game, what advice would you give them apart from don't do it?
Do it. Do you know, music it seems to be like one of the biggest pastimes now. Yeah. Actually making beats. People, the equipment's becoming more affordable and stuff, and you see more and more young people, old people, females, all kinds of people from all over the world. I follow some really interesting people, you know, from old women in Japan sat in their little house with little gear setups and stuff. And it's like, even, you know, last time I saw Ortez, like, he was like, he's still making music, but he's not really bothered about it. He comes home from work, he turns everything off, he lights his incense, and he just lets go. And it's like, I love that part of it, that it's become this pastime. It's people's gym, or it's people's, you know, going to the pub or whatever, or, you know, sack your Netflix account off and go and make some music, man. So it's like, I would say my advice is, if you're gonna do it because you love it, not because it's some fad that everybody else has done, or because you want to be big on social media or anything like that. Yeah. Do it and just be creative, man. Do it as a release. Yeah.
I'm gonna finish on that, mate.
No worries, dude.
Right. Everybody knows how many people I've had on the podcast. Everybody needs to go and follow Kuartz. Out of everybody, I want people to go and follow Kuartz. It's cute. In fact, what is your Instagram handle?
It's Mate Kuartz, so it's MatteKuartz.
I thought it was just Kuartz for some reason. Please go and follow my mate, Matt. He's the fucking bollocks. Mate, thank you so much.
Cheers, Tim. Always a pleasure, dude.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye. Bye.